So, if you're here, thank you so much for coming. This is RosieJulia on the Go, a podcast where we talk about pretty much anything random, no specific topic we talk about all the time. But this month in particular, we will be talking about Pride and, just everything that I've scheduled for the month. If you haven't yet, I have posted a schedule where you can look at the events going on, the days. I've circled all the days of the week, and I've also showed the name of the events and the times and everything. You just have to look at the post to see. Perfect. So if you got that, that's great. I do have a script to go through, so trust me, we will not be just talking and talking about basically nothing. I have things I'm going to mention. So I like the visual on the post because it helps see the actual dates. Of course, anytime. Yeah, so I like to make sure it's visual and you can see the event, the time, the day, pretty much all of that. So I do want to mention really quickly, if you stay throughout the whole podcast, I will be giving out tips at the end, only to people who've stayed through the podcast though. If you happen to just be there by the end of it, sorry, can't give out a tip. So I just wanted to mention that. So if you would like a treat at the end, I will definitely be giving out some tips by the end. But before I start talking about what, the event is today, which is basically, Pride, LGBTQIA terms, discussions, basically all of that. It's been a while. I hope you're well. I'm trying to be. It's not easy, not gonna lie. Things have been really tough for me lately, especially getting out of college and trying to figure out what I'm going to do in the future. It's a lot. It's really building up. It's a lot of tension. So this is a perfect distraction for me to, do something during the day. And I think it's going to work out really well for me and for you guys to have things to do during high-rise time. So, But I do want to mention, I do have a Discord. And I do let everyone know ahead of a time before I even talk about the plans and everything. Those people get a sneak peek, basically. So if you want to join a Discord, I will be posting it soon. You'd have to go through my recents, though, and I don't think you'll want to do that. So I will be posting the Discord again, so you can join. And hopefully I'll do another giveaway for Discord. But as of now, you get sneak peeks if you're in a Discord, and I sometimes do giveaways on there. Definitely join a Discord. You won't regret it. And also, I would like to know, do any of you want to get notifications for invites? Do any of you want me to message you when the new podcast is coming? If any of you want to know when the next one is coming, or even an invite, or right away, an invite at the very second. If you want that, please message me and I will add you to the list of people who get notifications. And so you won't ever miss an event that way. So if you're interested, PM me. And I will be looking for Discord mods and room mods very soon, because a few people are inactive and I'm going to have to start looking for more people. And I will get to your messages really soon. Do not worry. I will get to your messages really soon, guys. But as of now, I have to focus on what I really came here to do. So, if you haven't yet, screenshot the room, because at the end of these, I always like to make a post talking about how the event went, or how the podcast went. And I also like to mention people who've come and special thank yous. So if you like to do that, please just I will notify you, I promise. Just take a screenshot of the room and use hashtag RJOTG, and I will go over and every single one of the posts and comment on them too. I like to do that so you guys don't miss out and you feel like you're a part of the community. So if you like to do that, please take some screenshots right now. I need pictures for the collage at the end. If I don't see any pictures, then I'll just remind you guys. But yeah, as of now, I think I'm ready to discuss what this event is basically about. So, we will be talking about Pride, LGBTQIA specifically. That's what we were planning on doing anyways. But The catch is I will be talking about a variety of things, like the history of LGBTQIA, and I'll also be talking about different terms like pansexual, heterosexual, homosexual, just different terms that we'll kind of discuss. And if any of you are those terms, you just comment like me or like I'm that or like something like that. So we'll just kind of discuss each and every one of them. Yeah, I shout out to my fellow pansexuals. Exactly. We will be talking about that too. But right now, I would like to discuss a few sources that I found. I did have to do a little bit of research to find some sources that I like to cite or just claim or like say, so you know that I didn't write that out myself. Like I found it somewhere. And then I also wrote a little bit of words of wisdom that I found too, that I like to speak on as well. But as of now, I'll just say the sources. I'm not gonna beat around the bush anymore, guys. Okay, so lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual Pride Month is currently celebrated each year in the month of June to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan. It is a month dedicated to celebration and commemoration of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender pride. Pride Month began after the Stonewall Riots, a series of gay liberation protests in 1969, and has since spread outside of the United States. And so this is really important to mention because you want to know the history of where all of your pride comes from, what you're celebrating, what you're, talking about. You don't want to be very clueless. You want to kind of know how things are going. And so they say that Stonewall led directly to the founding of the Gay Liberation Front, which is the name of the many gay liberation groups that formed in New York during that same year, 1969. And so Stonewall is very important. I wanted to mention that because it's a very important part of why we're celebrating LGBTQIA. This is another source that I found. The Stonewall Riots, also called the Stonewall Uprising, began in the early hours of June 28, 1969, when New York City police raided the Stonewall Inn, a gay club located in Greenwich Village in New York City. And so this is just what I found. I'm not 100% sure if this is accurate or not, but it sounds like it really did happen. And we definitely want to, we love educated people, so we all want to be educated. And so I kind of added a little sentence to go with it. For the longest time, people have viewed being homosexual as a sin. Back in those days, people would have to get treated for their sexual preference. And this is something that a lot of people don't really mention, is that back in those days, you weren't allowed to, come out of the closet or be who you truly are. You had to hide that. And it's a very scary time. Some people say how they wish they could live back then, or how I wish we were back in the 1960s. No, you don't. We actually have a lot more freedom than we did before. And though the world is really scary right now, still in many places too. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It is in many places still. And we like to kind of discuss that because it's tough. We're lucky in the United States that we at least have that opportunity to reveal who we truly are. But some places you can't do that, and it's really scary. You get sent to a psychiatric unit, unfortunately. Exactly. And this is kind of what I wanted to mention because not a lot of people do mention that. It's really sad, and we want to be there to support those people because they need our love. They need our utmost support. We want to be there for everyone. So, oh yeah. And so basically, this is another source that I found. Leaders like Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, Storm DeLavery, I don't know if I said her name right, Stormy DeLavery, and Miss Major Griffin Gracie, to name a few, were young New York residents at the time. They are all referenced as participants in the Stonewall Uprising. Those are a couple of the people who were activists and who helped lead this community, and I just wanted to mention them because they might be some important figures you want to know. If you know any of those people, let me know. I never heard of those people, so it's very interesting to learn about different people who were activists and helped the community, helped with the Stonewall Uprising. And so if you know any of those people, let me know. I don't really know much about it. So that's why I wanted to do some research. I didn't want to be like really, I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to like speak on something that I really have no clue about. I just wanted to at least be a little educated. So it's important to kind of mention that. And yeah, like I said in my sentence, it's important to take a peek into the history of what we're celebrating and honor the activists who made this possible for us. We would not be where we are today without them. I recommend you check out more websites explaining the importance of Pride Month and its brief history. And so that's basically some facts and some historical moments that I wanted to mention and that kind of led to the LGBTQIA community and the Stonewall Uprising, things that we definitely want to remember and we want to kind of think about because they're very important. And so, are any of you ready? Are any of you ready for the terms? Like, just, like different names that I'm going to be calling out, and you can kind of say if you're that and stuff like that. Okay, you're ready for that. Okay, you're ready for the terms. So it's a link, and it's on healthline.com. That's where the source is from. And I'm just going to be, I'm going to be reading out from that. And you tell me if, you relate to that, or you think you're that, or just, anything like that. So this is going to be fun, guys. I've really been looking forward to doing this. So, first off, it talks about coming out. It's important to remember that each person's coming out experience is different, and the act of coming out can be hard and emotional. God, I'm thinking about how I just didn't get water. I was so focused on prepping my microphone and everything. I'm going to be thirsty through half of this, and I'm just going to have to take 2 minutes to get water or something. But I'm not going to worry about that now. Let's see. Yeah, the act of coming out can be hard and emotional. We want to keep in mind. I will get a drink soon, guys. I promise. Stay hydrated. I will get water. I probably should have went downstairs, but I was too focused on prepping my mic and stuff. So thank you guys so much. I'll try to be, let's see how much time we have left. Okay, we got plenty of time, guys. We got 47 minutes, so I'll be very slow with these. Everyone's telling you to get water. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be 2 minutes. Invite your friends in the meantime and take some screenshots of the room. And yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Just 1 second. All right, I'm back, guys. What have you guys been talking about? What did I miss? Looks like I missed quite a few things. I asked people if they're going to Prides. Oh yeah, the Pride events. Does anyone have information about those? Maybe we could kind of do something similar to that on Highrise. Chicago had a huge one every year. Oh, really? It's quite fascinating. At this moment, I still live with my parents who are homophobic and don't believe in being non-binary, but once I'm not 100% will sometime. Well, if you're not comfortable yet, that's completely okay. Every one of us at RJOTG, we want to support you and your coming out, and we will always be here for you. We're your family. I've been wanting to do one on Highrise. Yeah, so I actually think that would be a really good idea to do. I'm definitely looking forward to. Sorry guys, I'm literally I'm trying to catch my breath. I just literally ran upstairs. Iceland is the only place I know of that hasn't had protesters during their Pride events. I thought about making one for an HR Live event. Twix, we could collab. It sounds really fun. I would join. I'd be down. My parents are the same way about me being. I'm so sorry to hear that. That is really, really unfortunate that some people do have to go through that. I am here for all of you that have to go through that. Jace of Hearts is hosting a drag-themed Pride Parade. That sounds really fun. I would actually be down to join that. We sadly had protesters here when we had our Pride event. Oh, I'm so sorry. So, guys, are we ready to kind of announce the names and the terms and everything? Do we want to hear? Okay, perfect. In the meantime, though, please invite your friends and please take some screenshots. I'm going to be taking quite a few screenshots myself. And I'm sorry if you hear the noise. It's just that none of you are doing it, so. Trying to be quick about this. Okay. Yeah, guys, please post. I want to see some of your posts. Okay, so the first term is allosexual, a word and category describing those who experience sexual attraction. Use of this term helps normalize the experience of people on the asexual spectrum and provides a more specific label to describe those who aren't part of the asexual community. So if you are that, feel free to comment. If not, we will move on to the next one. I like to hear some of your stories. So if you are any of these, I'd like to hear like a sentence or two explaining like why you feel like, you might be that, or like if you are that, like maybe kind of explain a little bit more. I'd love to hear your stories. So we'll move on to the next one then, because I don't think anyone is speaking about it. Androsexual, a term used to communicate sexual or romantic attraction to men, males, or masculinity. This term intentionally includes attraction to those who identify as men, male, or masculine, regardless of biology, anatomy, or sex assigned at birth. Okay. I mean, it's a very broad term, I would think. I've never heard of that one. Me neither. I've never heard of that either. Sounds really cool and open. So I'm assuming if you're a male, it's to communicate sexual or romantic attraction to men. So you could be a female or a man, and you could be androsexual. Okay. I was confused by that. Wait, what? Cat took my headphones. Oh, we were speaking about some of the terms. If you missed it, we talked about allosexism. Oh, actually, I don't think we did that yet. We talked about allosexual and androsexual, but we got to talk about allosexism. I just skipped that. This refers to norms, stereotypes, and practices in society that operate under the assumption that all human beings experience or should experience sexual attraction. Allosexism grants privilege to those who experience attraction and leads to prejudice against an erasure of asexual people. I have no clue what erasure means, but it sounds like it's a term that is like more of an assumption type thing. Maybe it has something to do with stereotypes. I have no clue, because sometimes these sentences still confuse me. So if you know what that means, feel free. Otherwise, let's move on to asexual, which all of you know by now, because that's a part of the name now. LGBTQIA. I would think asexual is a part of that name now. So I think they added the IA at the end after Q. It was originally LGBTQ+, but then they added the IA very recently, which I noticed. And I think I stands for intersex, and I think A stands for asexual. If I'm wrong, please tell me, because I honestly don't know. Thank you guys so much for posting. I really, really appreciate it. I will look at your posts really soon. I will love them. I will comment on them. I promise. Keep posting. Yes, that's correct. Okay, good. And the 2's in the beginning for two spirits. All right. Next is asexual. Someone who identifies as a member of the asexual community experiences little or no sexual attraction to others of any gender. Asexuality is a broad spectrum. People who identify as asexual may identify with one or more other terms that can more specifically capture their relationship to sexual attraction. Also referred to as aces, some people who are asexual do experience romantic attraction to people of one or multiple genders. Some asexual people may also engage in sexual activity. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're completely not attracted at all. It just means it said little to no. But I'm confused because I thought that was what demisexual was. So I'm just going to have to look at it again. I'm under the asexual umbrella, demisexual, where sometimes you need a romantic or deep connection before sexual intimacy. Yes, me too. I'm demisexual too. I know exactly what you mean. It's like you want to have an emotional connection with someone before sexual attraction, and that's like the most important thing that you want above all else. Otherwise, it's not as meaningful. So I completely get it. Yeah, I don't know why I took that out of my bio. I just was filling up other stuff in my bio. So I might add that later because it's the month of June. So, oh shit, I may be that too. Oops. Go look it up and like kind of figure out what like the not oh, it's not side effects. It's like descriptions, like what things that like may lead to that, or like things you notice that you are doing, like actions that may lead to that. You know what I'm talking about? Like kind of like let's say that you are heterosexual and you want to figure out like what are kind of the definitions of that. Like look for the definitions. Polar Goal says, I date men. I don't really get sexually attracted to anyone though. Completely understandable. I think that has to do with romantic attraction. Anyone who is like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like blank romantic. Like if someone was aromantic, that would mean they are not attracted to anyone romantically. So you can have romantic attraction without being sexually attracted to anyone. It's completely valid. Very true. Let's move on to aromantic, which I just mentioned. I wasn't even looking at the screen and it's there. A romantic orientation that describes people who experience little or no romantic attraction regardless of sex or gender. So it's very much the same as asexual except the opposite. Like aromantic would be you're not really attracted to someone romantically, and asexual would be you're not really attracted to someone sexually, which, you know, they're like the complete opposite, but at the same time, they're similar. So, interesting. I actually have heard about this one, but this one is very, very intriguing. Autosexual. A person who is sexually attracted to themselves. Someone's desire to engage in sexual behavior, such as, I don't want to even say, doesn't determine whether they're autosexual. Okay, that makes sense. The page is on the same page as your brain. I know. I couldn't say it, guys. I'm sorry. I could not say that word. You're probably laughing right now. You're like, why couldn't you just say it? Kind of sound narcissistic. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I did not expect it to say that. Totally skipped out on the word though. For real, I was just about to say that. Yeah, guys. So are any of you autosexual? I'm curious. Do any of you think that you're attracted to yourselves? Please tell me. I'm quite interested about this one. Oh hell no. Nah, I am ugly. Oh, I don't think you're ugly. Okay, guys, it doesn't seem like any of you are autosexual, so I'll move on to the next one. Autoromantic. A romantic orientation that describes a person who's romantically attracted to themselves. People who identify as autoromantic often report experiencing the relationship they have with themselves as romantic. Quite interesting. It's like imagining that you're a celebrity. No, it's not. That was a bad example. I love myself, but you love yourself romantically if you're an autoromantic. Not me. I mean, maybe I am pretty hot, but can I say some good news when I'm allowed to? Oh my gosh. I mean, I take myself out on dates. True. Very true. I promise I'll respond to your message, Shark, after the podcast. I just saw a notification. Yes, I said take your time. Okay, good. Okay, looks like none of you are autoromantic either. Okay, good to know we're not completely egotistical. Okay, this one is very important. Bi-curious. This refers to people who are questioning or exploring bisexuality, often due to a curiosity about one's romantic or sexual attraction to people of the same or different genders. Does anyone think they might be attracted to the same genders? I know there's a few of you in here who probably are, so if you're too scared to say anything, completely understand. But I love to hear your stories. If you want to say even just a little thing, I love to read them. I'm attracted to both genders. All right. That's really good, Soljini. This is a safe space. Completely safe. Yep, Shark is right. This is a very safe space for you guys. Yeah, I'm sure quite a few of you probably have had some thoughts about liking the same gender, maybe. It's not something that is completely uncommon. Like, even as like a heterosexual, I cannot like pronounce these things right, but even as liking the opposite gender, you might like once or twice you might have had some thoughts about liking the same gender. Doesn't mean that you like that gender though. It just means that you've had thoughts about it and you might be curious, but doesn't necessarily, like I said, people are beautiful. It's hard. Sometimes it's just too hard. But you know what's funny, guys? I don't think I could ever be sexually attracted to a celebrity. Like some people, they can look at a celebrity and they can have really sexual thoughts about them, and I'm just like, ew, how do you even do that? Like, gross. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what the hell? Oh my gosh, you're saying proud of you. I want to see, what did you say? So I've been incredibly nervous to say this, but I also like both genders. Well, that's so great, Bad B. I'm so proud of you too. It's really a good thing to come out of your shell and to reveal these things, because it's important to figure out kind of who you are in life, you know? Um, I'm not even sure really like what I am like sexually. Like I'm obviously a female, but other than that, I like to do undecided or like unannounced, or like I don't like to use the term heterosexual. Like, it's just a very broad term, and it's so, who even wants to be identified as that? Maybe some people. But I don't know, it's just such a broad term and I just don't like using it for myself. But other than that, like, it's a really like unlabeled. Yeah, pretty much. But like, other than that, I would say I'm just demisexual. But I wouldn't kind of, I wouldn't label it as anything else. Some people know, and of course I know too, but I just don't like to mention it. You know what I mean? OMG, it's a line of the same hats. You guys are my favorite people now. Oh, I'm just so happy to hear that. If you are enjoying this podcast too, please follow our RJOTG account. I will be following all of you guys back on there, and I will also be posting on there. I will be taking screenshots. It'll be a great time, guys. Check out her page for other podcast dates. So I will be posting, maybe I'll repost the dates if you guys don't want to go down and look for them, but they're very recent. So I've been thinking about having they, them pronouns, but I'm not sure. I'm still confused about it. That's a good point to kind of bring up, because sometimes you don't know like what you want to go by. And some people don't even kind of mention that. Some people are literally like they know. And I think I'm wearing black and white because I'm more of an ally. I'm kind of like an ally, and I'm also like demisexual. So maybe that's why I'm wearing black and white. But other than that, I definitely want to wear more rainbow going forward. I think it's going to be more fun. I just kind of had to kind of just put something on. So I apologize if this isn't really well thought out. I just had to get my microphone. It's been sitting in my closet for about a month now. So I like to make sure that everything's here and everything's right for you guys. Yeah, off topic, but kind of, I got my first, oh my gosh, yeah, test shot today. Got up at 6 a.m. for a drive to my appointment. Well, how did it go? How did it like, how did it feel? Yeah. Hey, Miami, welcome. Thank you so much for coming, guys. So we were just kind of talking, if you're like new here, or like if you just came here, we're just kind of talking about terms. And I kind of want to be quick about this because we have like 30 minutes left. So I'm going to just try to get through these all for you. And then I can read all of your comments. So I know a few of you are bi-curious. Bisexual, a sexual orientation that describes people who experience sexual, romantic, or emotional attractions to people of more than one gender. Also referred to as bi. Bisexual typically includes individuals who are attracted to a variety of people with genders that are similar to and different from than their own. Yeah. I know a lot of you are bisexual, so it's a great thing to know what you are, but then it's also okay to not know what you are. It's okay to take time to figure that out. If you don't know, that's completely okay. That's why we have the in the closet term for a reason. So, Grandpa Peepaw, it's so good to hear that you're bi as well. Montastic? Did I say your name right? Monastic. You are as well. Very great. Yeah, I know some of you are, and it's just really good to kind of come out of your shell and to kind of, yeah. I'm still questioning. Completely okay. Girl, I know how you feel. It's very tough to know sometimes, you know? Bisexual does not always mean men or female. A lot of bisexual people include trans and gender non-conforming people. Just like pan does, just has a more open identification for LGBTQ people. That's something that I didn't know. Thank you for including that. I had no clue about that. So thank you so much, Shark. I really appreciate it. I definitely had no clue about that. That definitely educated me because I genuinely didn't know that. Exactly. I was scared too. I know how you feel. It's very, very tough, especially if you have people who aren't supportive. I'm here for you. If you need someone to talk to, I'm always a PM away. I'm always here to talk. Do not worry. I'm an amazing friend. So if you need just a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for you. So, let's move on to biromantic. People who experience romantic attraction, but not sexual attraction to people of more than one gender. It's like, you know, same kind of similar as bisexual, but it's more like you're attracted romantically to this, you know, different genders. So it's great, guys. It'll come at the right time, definitely. Yeah, guys, are any of you biromantic? Please tell me your story if you are. I'll give you a second to type. I'm gonna just take a sip. Looks like a few of you are typing. I can hear it. I thought I was bi at first, so I went up and told my mom. Okay. But I am literally confused at this point. I know, honestly, it's very tough to know, especially when you keep having those thoughts. It's very relatable and it's just very understandable. It takes time to figure out if that's what you are. It'll take you probably longer than expected too, especially if you're like really confused. Honestly, I still question my gender identity and sexuality after years. Labels are scary. I honestly mainly just go by queer and genderqueer because those terms make me feel good, even as umbrella terms. You don't want to go by a term that you feel uncomfortable with. You want to go by a term that you feel comfortable going by, and you kind of just want to, like, you know, you don't want to feel like, oh, this is such a very not broad term, like this is just too much, like it's very specific, and like, I don't know, sometimes it's just not something that you enjoy being labeled as. And even just being labeled, some people just hate being labeled, which is completely relatable. You don't need to share your story, you don't need to do that, but if you do, I'm really proud of you, I'm really happy for you, and I'm here to support you all the way. We are a family here at RJOTG. We are always going to be by your side, making sure you're happy, you're healthy, you're living nice. Yeah, honestly, it's tough to know. I have queer tattooed across my leg. Oh my gosh, it's so cute, Shark. I came out as a man. I don't say trans often. Like you say, it's uncomfortable for me like that. When I was 11, 22 now, moved around too much and didn't have the time to start anything, like, very understandable. Some people just don't want to, like, label, which completely, really relatable. I understand. All right, guys, I don't want to read too many comments. I have to keep reading these. That's what I told you guys I would be doing, and I don't want to miss anything. So let's keep going. Closeted. Closeted, or the state of being in the closet, describes people in the LGBTQIA community who don't publicly or openly share their sexual identity, sexual attraction, sexual behavior, gender expression, or gender identity. Closeted is often understood as the opposite of out and refers to the metaphorical, hidden, or private place an LGBTQIA person comes from in the process of making decisions about disclosing gender and sexuality. Some people may be out in certain communities, but closeted in others due to fear of discrimination, mistreatment, rejection, or violence. Now this, obviously, it's called closeted for a reason. You don't have to tell me that you're closeted. If you're closeted, you don't have to mention it. Completely understandable. And just know that we'll be here for you when you're ready to come out, when you're ready to say what, even if you don't have a label and you just want to mention that's what you are, we'll be here for you every step of the way. So, all right, next one is coming out. I think closeted people are so strong, but safety comes first always, especially if you're in like a toxic household or relationship. Be very careful and like, make sure that you're in a healthy environment first before you come out. Even just for the community, because you want to make sure you're safe too, guys. Safety is number one priority. Number one. Like, obviously, you don't want to die. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to, be abused. So you want to make sure that, obviously, trigger warning. You just want to make sure that you are safe. So, like I said, I completely understand how you feel. And that's okay. It's okay to be closeted. But let's talk about coming out. A phrase that refers to the process of being open about one's sexuality and gender. For many LGBTQIA people, coming out isn't a one-time event, but a process and series of moments and conversations. Also described as coming out of the closet. This process can include sharing about a same gender or similar gender, sexual or romantic attraction or experience, identifying as LGBTQIA, disclosing one's specific gender identity, gender expression, or sexual or romantic orientation. Some people decide to keep their sexuality, gender, or intersex status private, while others decide to share these things with loved ones, acquaintances, or the public. The process of coming out, or the state of being out, is a source of self-acceptance and pride for many, but not all, of us LGBTQIA people. However, and this is what it says, it's important to remember that each person's coming out experience is different, and the act of coming out can be hard and emotional. The decision to come out is deeply personal. Each person should make decisions about disclosing sexuality and gender in their own time and manner. So that's very important, guys. We're not all going to have the same story. It's all going to be different. It might not make sense at first, but you will figure it out along the way, no matter how long it may take you. We will be here for you every step of the way, guys. All right. So let's talk about this. This is a term that I have never seen before. Alice says, I went through 3 different coming outs to my parents because it was too complicated each time, but they are now really accepting. I am so happy to hear that, Alice. It's very hard sometimes, especially when it takes them a while to accept that, but I'm really happy that you were able and brave enough to do that. So proud of you. And I will tell all of you guys that I'm proud of you, because I really truly am, You guys are just doing so much by even, talking about your stories and what you're going through, and just, you don't even have to label yourself, just to have, feelings. I say every time in this podcast is really about our opinions and how we feel about things, speaking based off of emotions. We're not going off of factual stuff. We're not going off of logic. Obviously logic is important, but we really talk about feelings here, guys. We talk about our opinions and feelings and how they're very important in this community. We don't want to hurt each other's feelings, so talking about our feelings will save us so much heartbreak. Sexuality and gender is like trees, all with different leaves and different branches. That is a very good example. We all bloom at different seasons. You're such an amazing poet, Shark. You should make a poem. I would definitely read them. Okay, guys, let's not get too distracted, okay? So we have 19 minutes left. I might have to extend the time if we don't get through all of these terms. Otherwise, let's continue. I see a lot of you guys posting. Keep posting, guys. I would love to comment on your posts and screenshot them and make a collage at the end. I cannot wait to see all of your posts. So this term is called cupiosexual. I've never heard of this one. Cupiosexual describes asexual people who don't experience sexual attraction but still have the desire to engage in sexual behavior or a sexual relationship. Quite interesting. That might be some people, but it's not a term that I've ever really heard before. Okay, fluidity. Sexuality is someone that can change over the course of someone's life. So this is, we already talked about this kind of, demisexual, and this is what I am. On the asexual spectrum, This sexual orientation describes people who experience sexual attraction only under specific circumstances, such as after building a romantic or emotional relationship with a person. It's very important to kind of know what you are, but at the same time, if you don't, that's completely okay. But this in particular, this isn't like, oh, I'm attracted to males or females or like, trans people. Like it has nothing to do with being attracted to a certain person. It has solely to do with emotion, having that connection with someone. It's completely about the emotion, the feeling, the connection with someone, like personality wise. It's completely about the bond and the connection, like you said. And that is why I am comfortable saying that I'm a demi, because it has nothing to do with those other terms. It has completely to do with that, very broad thing, which is kind of just feeling connections with someone emotionally, which a lot of people might have, but it's just something that I'm comfortable saying, and some people might not be, and that's completely okay. I know a lot of you are too. Deceased Soul says I'm a demi too. I know, it is just so amazing to see so many people in the demi community. I honestly had no clue there were other people who were like that, but I'm so happy to hear that, because it's a term that I've not really heard before. Like previously, maybe about a few years ago, I only just heard about this term maybe 2 years ago or so. But yeah, guys, it's not something that's mainly talked about. I would really like demisexuality to be talked about more in the community, but I understand not all of the terms are going to be talked about. It's something that we just kind of have to, go with. I have a question. What's your question? Can you be demisexual but also be hypersexual? So I have no clue what hypersexual is. I'm sure we'll get to it though. And when we do, you'll have your answer. Ask me this when we go. Okay, so let's move on to demi-romantic. This romantic orientation describes people who experience romantic attraction only under specific circumstances, such as after building an emotional relationship with a person. Yeah, very true. Very, very, very true. Is anyone demi-romantic? I'd love to know. I already know there's a lot of people in here who are demisexual, but is anyone demi-romantic? I think that flag is green, and I think that demisexual is purple. Kind of similar to the ace community. I always kind of reference that asexual and demisexual are like on the same umbrella, except asexual is more like you're not, sexually attracted, and then demisexual is like under certain terms you are. I always kind of saw it that way, but yeah. Guys, is anyone... Okay, it doesn't look like anyone is. If anyone is, though, I'd love to know. Let's move on to the next one. This must be a broad term. I used to identify as demi-romantic, but I've been rethinking a lot. So yeah, the thing about like terms and like labels is that they change over time. And this is something that I had no clue about until very recently. They change. They're not always going to be the same. You're going to have different thoughts and opinions and feelings over time, and it's not going to always stay the same. If it does, that's great, but sometimes we just got to accept the fact that it won't. So, yeah, guys, invite your friends. I'd love to see some more of you here. Comment your thoughts, and we'll keep reading out these terms. I'm wondering if you can invite me to your Discord server. Yes, I will be sending out a link like very soon. I'll be making a post, and all of you can just copy that link and you'll get the invite. I will be posting it soon, but like first I definitely have to kind of post the update on how the podcast went. Yeah, please take screenshots, guys. I'd love to see them. You people are awesome. I have to go. If you want to talk, DM me. Thank you so much for coming, Polar Goal. If you haven't yet, please follow me. I will follow back, and also follow RJOTG for more updates. I'd love to see you at the next one, which is this Saturday? Yeah, this Saturday. You have to pass the Discord chart. That's funny. Okay, the next one. And also, thank you so much for coming, guys. I really appreciate it. You know this. I am just so thankful you're here and you're staying. I will be giving out tips at the end. I am so happy you guys are still here. It means the world to me. So we have 13 minutes left. Let's run into these. Fluid is, this term refers to the fact that sexuality, sexual attraction, and behavior can change over time and vary based off of circumstances. It's used to describe people who experience shifts in their sexuality, sexual attraction, or sexual behavior in different situations or throughout the course of their lifetime. You may hear someone describe their sexuality as fluid. So I'd love to hear your definition of this, because I'm still a little bit confused on what that basically means, because for me it's like very easy to know if it's like under basic definition, but some of these aren't very like basic, meanings. So if anyone has like a definition for it, I'd love to hear. But yeah, I think a lot of people would identify as this. I've never heard of this, but maybe it seems like someone who adjusts sexuality based on partners. Are you talking about fluid? Because I think fluidity is definitely talked about. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not sure. It just says that it refers to sexuality, sexual attraction, and sexual behavior that can change over time. So maybe it's just the fact that it changes over time, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's move on to gay, a term that describes people who experience sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction to people of the same or similar gender. Some gay-identified women prefer the term lesbian, while others prefer queer or gay. It's also best to ask which word or term someone uses to describe themselves. The fields of medicine and psychology previously referred to the sexual orientation as homosexual. It is now viewed as an outdated and offensive term and shouldn't be used to refer. Okay, very duly noted. Personally, some things can and do change based on experiences, so that could be. Yeah, things really do change over time, and we definitely want to remember that. Things aren't always going to go smoothly. Things are going to be a bit bumpy, a bit rocky. But we'll get through it. We will definitely get through it, guys. My dogs fell asleep to your voice. Oh my gosh, I'm so flattered. I don't think my voice is that nice, but thank you so much. Let's go on to gray sexual. I've heard this term before. I've been doing a little bit of research myself in the past to figure out if I might be anything. And I don't know, this is a term that I might identify with, but I'm not sure. Gray sexual is used to acknowledge the gray area on the sexuality spectrum for people who don't explicitly and exclusively identify as asexual or aromantic. Many people who identify as gray sexual do experience some sexual attraction or desire, but perhaps not at the same level or frequency as those who identify their sexuality as being completely outside of the asexual spectrum. That's a term that I might need more definition on, but it's something that I might relate to a little bit. Yeah. Is anyone gray sexual? Does anyone know? Or does anyone think they know kind of what that means? Like maybe an example or something? If not, it's okay, guys. I will move on to the next term. If not, we have 10 minutes left, so I might have to add more time. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, guys. Doesn't look like anyone's commenting about that. Gray romantic. A romantic orientation that describes individuals whose romantic attraction exists in the gray area between romantic and aromantic. Many people who identify as gray romantic do experience some romantic attraction, but perhaps not at the same level or frequency like the last one said, who identify their sexuality or romantic orientation as something other than asexual. Okay. Definitely this similar. If you need help to pay for Mike, let me know. You do not have to pay. I promise you, you do not need to pay. I have enough gold. But if anyone would love to tip, that would mean so much to me. I'm definitely going to be losing out on a lot of gold going forward. I can only afford so much, but as of now, I'm okay. But in the future, I would love to see some tips going into the piggy bank. Let's see. How do you say this? Gynesexual? I got Gyne sexual. Gynesexual? I don't know. What is what is this word? I think it's here, let me spell it out for you. It's that. I don't know how to pronounce it though. gynesexual, I believe. Let me say what it is. A term used to communicate sexual or romantic attraction to women, females, or femininity. This term intentionally includes attraction to those who identify as women, female, or feminine, regardless of biology, anatomy, or same-sex assigned at birth. Might have to do more with personality. I believe it's the opposite of androsexual. Yeah. You're right, Uriel. I think it is. I think it is like, for men, it would be like masculinity, but not necessarily biological man, but more as so like personality-wise masculinity, androsexual. And then personality-wise femininity, gynesexual. I think that's what it kind of means. Because people can have a feminine or masculine personality. Like, for example, I have a feminine personality and I'm a female. But someone like James Charles might be a male but have a feminine personality. So it's necessarily really, it has to do, I would say, more with like your personality and what you like, your interests. That's what I would think. But it definitely has to do with femininity or masculinity. Gynesexual in particular says femininity. So we have 7 minutes left. Might have to add some mic because we're not done yet. Heterosexual, you already know what this is. A term that describes people who experience sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction to people of the opposite gender. Both cisgender and transgender identified people can be heterosexual. This orientation category is commonly described as straight. Straight is a term that I hate using. Same as like if you call someone like a homosexual, I guess it really depends on like what you like and you don't like. But yeah, just don't call someone straight. I don't know, it's just not something, it doesn't sound like something many people would like. Or maybe some people are okay with it, I'm not sure. I know a lot of you might be heterosexual. Are any of you heterosexual? I'm guessing so. I probably shouldn't even ask that. Nope. Wow. Me. Yeah, I guess it really depends. You can go by many terms. You could go by different labels. You could even go as heterosexual and bisexual. It doesn't matter. It really just depends on what you want to go by. I'm straight, but I love these kind of podcasts. Yeah, me too. I really, really love making these. This is really fun too, because this is like a topic of the month, not a topic of the week. Because this is all Pride. Every single one of these events in the month of June, they're all going to be Pride related events. So I hope you're all ready. There's going to be lots of giveaways. There's going to be lots of, giveaways and activities and contests. You will love them and you won't want to miss them. They're all going to be such fun. So I do have 5 minutes left. Please tell me if I'm running low, like if I have like 1 minute or 2 minutes left, because I don't have much time to go through all these. We might have to skip a few too if we don't have enough time. Okay, we talked about homosexual, an outdated term rooted in the fields of medicine and psychology that refers to people who experience sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction to people of the same or similar gender. Okay, lesbian, a woman or female identified person who experiences sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction to people of the same or of a similar gender. However, it's important to note that not all lesbians are female identified. Some define their identity as more of non-male or femme, is that how you say it, than female or feminine. Some people who are lesbians may also refer to themselves as gay or queer, while others prefer the term lesbian. LGBTQIA, the acronym that often describes people who don't identify as being exclusively heterosexual or exclusively cisgender. The letters of the acronym stand for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or questioning, intersex, and asexual. Okay, that explains the answer that we had. The plus symbol refers to the fact that there are many sexual orientations and gender identities that are part of the broader community, but aren't included as part of the acronym. Oh my god, this next one is crazy. I don't even think I'll tell you when there's 1 minute. We have 3 minutes left, so I think we're okay, but when it gets to 1 minute, we're going to have to add more time. If there's any podcast happening, can someone please DM when there's one? If you want to get notifications for invites, please just message me and I'll I'll message you back and I'll tell you once I've added you on the invite list. I have a list where I message all of you individually invites, so you never miss a podcast episode. So if you want to be on that list, please just message me, PM me. All right, this one. Oh yeah, by the way, is anyone a lesbian? I forgot to ask. I like to ask you guys if you are any of these. So are any of you a lesbian? Just say me if you are, maybe just anything you want to say. I'm open to listening. Can I be on the invite list? Yes, I will respond to your message very soon, Ian. I just gotta finish these terms. Yeah, doesn't look like anyone's commenting. Let's move on. Or should I mention this one or should I just skip it? I have like 2 minutes left. I don't think I'm going to be able to go through it. Which one? This is called libidoist asexual. I honestly don't know. I just saw the same word that I avoided saying and I was just like, I don't know if I should mention this yet. It's called libidoist asexual. It says that it's a term used to describe an asexual person who experiences sexual feeling that are satisfied through, and I don't want to say what it is, so maybe it's better to skip it. Okay. These are passing terms. The act of being perceived as straight or cisgender can be a source of discomfort and discrimination for some. Oh wait, hold on. The act of being perceived as straight or cisgender can be a source of. Is this what I just mentioned earlier? Is this really what I just mentioned? Hold on. Hold the phone. Didn't I just mention this before? I honestly, it's hard to know if I even mentioned that earlier. But literally, I thought that's what I said. Yeah. 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, guys, I will add more to this. If it doesn't work, I will just add to it again. Okay, it worked. Good. So I added more time. Don't worry. I know you just messaged me. It's okay. I saw your message. Okay, let's move on to some of these passing terms. This term is, and I'll try to be quick with these guys, but you gotta listen. Try not to comment too much unless you are one of these terms. Monosexual, a broad sexual orientation category that includes people who experience romantic or sexual attraction to people of one sex or gender. Monosexuality typically includes those who are exclusively heterosexual, gay, or lesbian. And sometimes I have to repeat these, so I'm sorry if I have to kind of like repeat these. Includes people who experience romantic or sexual attraction to people of one sex or gender. Okay. I might need to repeat them because I'm not going to really fully understand most of these. Glad I came back then. Yeah, guys, if any of you haven't yet, please take a screenshot of this room, take some pictures, and tag me and use hashtag RJOTG. I will be looking at them. And if you happen to leave, just take a picture before you go, and I'll know that you came. I might even give you something in return for, taking pictures. We'll see. And yeah, I will message all of you guys after the podcast is over. Next is non-libidoist asexual. And I think that's what we just, the opposite of non, we just kind of skipped that. Referring to identity on the asexuality spectrum, a non-libidoist is someone who doesn't experience any sexual feelings or has an active sex drive. Really interesting. Hold on. Who doesn't experience any feelings or has an active. Okay. This term I have heard before, but it's hard to know because I have to kind of reread these to understand them fully. This one is called omnisexual. Thank you so much for posting. I really appreciate it, guys. Tag me and use hashtag RJOTG so I can find the posts, because sometimes you guys forget to tag me or use hashtag. So make sure you do that so I can see them. Omnisexual is similar to pansexual and can be used to describe people whose sexuality isn't limited to those of a particular gender, sex, or sexual orientation. That must be a kind of broad term maybe then. I'm not sure. If any of you are these, what hash do you cut out? Hashtag RJOTG. Just look at what Shark said. They will comment. Don't worry, guys. Shark will comment them. Hashtag RJOTG is the hashtag that you will be using. So, and sorry about that. I literally, sometimes it's so hard for me to know through like she, he, they. Sometimes I might like misspeak. So if I do, guys, just like correct me, okay? If I end up saying he when you're actually a she, or if I say they when you're actually a he, or any of those, just correct me, okay? Would really appreciate if you do that so I know. Let's move on to pansexual. This is definitely a term I've definitely heard before. A term that describes people who can experience sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction to any person, regardless of that person's gender, sex, or sexuality. Pan gang. Oh, yes. Yes, I see all of the flag that you're holding, Diseased. It is such a cute flag. I love it. Love the pride, honestly. I want to give you something for just being dressed up in pride. Like, wow. I'll just give you an early tip because I have to be giving these out at the end anyway. So here you go. I love your dedication. So you're welcome. And that means you can leave whenever you want now. Because people who wait and stay throughout the end will be getting tips too. But since you got yours early, you could technically leave if you wanted to. So, okay. No, I love these kind of podcasts. I'm so happy to hear that because these are really fun for me to make. So, yeah, guys, are any of you guys pansexual? Anyone else? Your podcasts are always the best. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Sam is, ooh. Gifts are just a bonus when it comes to things like this. Correct. They are just bonus. They're extra. That is not the main purpose, but it's for me to reward you guys just for coming because I feel bad if I don't. Okay, guys. Pan-romantic. A term that describes... Oh my gosh, Shark, you just tipped me 1K. Thank you so much. You should have tipped that in the piggy bank, though. Otherwise, I'm so happy. Thank you so much for the tip. It means so much to me. I didn't see it. It's in the front. You know, when you enter, it's like above the door at the front. I mean, it's an invisible door, but it's like right there where, like, on the left. No, you didn't have to tip it. Oh my gosh. You just tipped me. You didn't have to tip it in the bank. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Shark. Okay. Pan-romantic is a term that describes people who experience romantic or emotional, but not sexual, attraction to any person regardless of that person's gender, sex, or sexuality. Okay. I'm going to need a drink after speaking so much. Finished this whole water bottle. Hydration. Drink some water, guys, if you haven't yet. It's really important to stay hydrated. I'm the one talking, so I need to drink a lot. 55 minutes left. Okay, cool. I don't want to take too long. The longest podcast we've done, guys, is 1 hour and 30 minutes. We don't want to go past that. If we do go past by 1 hour and 30 minutes, then that means a lot of editing for me, and I haven't even gotten through half of my podcasts yet. Like, editing them and posting them. I haven't even gotten through half of them yet, so I need to be really quick with these. The bedtime one was the longest podcast. It was episode 14, and it's where I read the bedtime stories. I did the Mad Libs. If you don't remember, that was probably the best podcast we've done. That was the longest podcast we've done. It lasted 1 hour and 30 minutes, and it still needs to be edited, and it's going to take me so long to edit. So thank you. That's going to be fun. Hi, Tums. Welcome. You guys eat something if you're hungry, please. Okay. Polysexual is a term that describes people with sexual orientation that involves sexual or romantic attraction to people with varying. Is that right? Varying genders. Polysexual orientations include bisexuality, pansexuality, omnisexuality, and queer, among many others. Okay. Is anyone polysexual? Hello, love. Sorry, haven't been to the podcast lately. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Completely fine. I'm so excited to learn with you guys. This is so much fun, just learning about all these terms and what they mean. Yeah, is anyone polysexual? If not, let's move on to the next one. I love reading these for you guys. If you want to hear all of them, or if you want to stop at a certain point, just let me know. Otherwise, let's continue. I just want to say this. If anyone needs someone to talk to about anything, my DMs. That's very sweet of you, Bad Bee. You should totally DM her if you have anything you want to say. Such a sweetheart. Absolutely love this group. Thank you so much. We have a Discord if you're interested in joining. Oop, game crashed. It's okay. Welcome back. I do have to edit a lot of these podcasts. I know a lot of you have been waiting. So thank you guys so much for staying. I know like it's been over an hour and you still are here. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on to pomosexual, a term used to refer to people who reject sexuality labels or don't identify with any of them. Pomosexuality is not necessarily an identity. Okay, I feel like a lot of people could relate with this one. Love the vibe here. Thank you so much, Drug. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I love the vibe in this room. I mean, I made this room, but I really love the vibe here. Love it. You guys are just the absolute best. I think we're almost, I mean, we have still a lot more to go through, but if no one else is pomosexual, we'll go on to what passing is. Passing refers to society's perceptions and assumptions of someone's sexuality or gender. Specifically, this term is most commonly used to discuss the frequency and extent to which an LGBTQIA person is perceived as or assumed to be straight or cisgender. It's important to note that some have the desire to pass while others do not. In fact, the act of being perceived as straight or cisgender can be a source of discomfort and discrimination for some people in the community. It's completely understandable too, yeah. Is that really just what passing means? Society's perceptions and assumptions? Yeah, society sometimes is so mean. They're like, have your label right away. But that's not how it works, you know? Sometimes we don't know what our label is. So yeah, don't let society tell you what you are and you aren't. You know, stay true to you guys. That's completely what we're celebrating this month, is staying true to ourselves. When you're wearing rainbow, not only are you celebrating LGBTQIA, sorry, I need to drink more water, but as I was saying, you're not just celebrating LGBTQIA, you're celebrating you. You're celebrating yourself. You're celebrating your pride, your, just being you, staying authentic to yourself. That's also something you're celebrating. So, can I add to this? Yeah, definitely. The example that makes more sense. If you're a trans man, if in public, you look like a man and vice versa. It's pretty much whether society sees you as what you are. Yeah, society thinks that you're something when you might actually be something else. Okay, which means you don't tell anyone you're transgender. Okay. You just dislike you're a cis person and don't disclose you're trans. Okay. I feel like I might have to scroll up a little bit to see. But yeah, like you said, it's pretty much whether society sees you as what you are. And above, yeah, trans gang. Yeah. Actually, but now that I think about it, I don't think we talked about trans yet. Hopefully we can get to that, guys. We have 49 minutes left. So let's keep moving forward so we can talk about a trans community. Sexuality. Who your sexual or romantic partner is at any given moment in time doesn't necessarily define this part of who you are. And we all know queer, an umbrella term that describes people who aren't exclusively heterosexual. The term queer acknowledges that sexuality is a spectrum as opposed to a collection of independent and mutually exclusive categories. Use of the word opens up beyond lesbian, gay, and bisexual to people who don't fit neatly into those categories or prefer a category that isn't dependent on sex and gender. While this term once had negative and derogatory connotations, I think, queer, I don't know if I said that right, queer has resurfaced as a common and socially acceptable way for it to be referred to themselves and their community. Okay. Let's move on to... Oh, do you have to go? Does someone have to go? Thank you so much for coming. I'm trying to figure out who said they need to leave. Oh, Bad Bee, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. We hope to see you at the next one this Saturday. And for staying so long, just message me and I'll send you out a tip. I really appreciate your time and your support. And if you haven't yet, please take a screenshot of this room so I know you were here. I hope you have a good night, Yeah, definitely come Saturday. It'll be lots of fun. Oh wait, Pearl said something interesting. By teens, many gay men who grew up in the 90s and early 20s feel very offended that the term is queer is used to describe them. It's understandable. So some people used to use it in a bad way, and now it's being used differently. It might be uncomfortable to some still, which is completely understandable. Definitely post. I would love to see what you're saying. So I would love to see your posts. Let's move on to questioning. The process of being curious about or exploring some aspect of sexuality or gender. Questioning can also be used as an adjective to describe someone who's currently exploring their sexuality or gender. Romantic attraction. The experience of having an emotional response that results in the desire for a romantic but not necessarily sexual relationship or interaction with another person or oneself. Some people experience romantic attraction but don't experience sexual attraction. Romantic orientation. This is an aspect of self and identity that involves how you identify, the way you experience romantic desire, the gender or sex of the people you engage in romantically, the gender or sex of the people you are romantically attracted to. And let's go on to the some more different terms. This is a term that I've never heard before. It's called sapiosexual, and this is a word used to describe those who experience attraction based on intelligence rather than sex or gender. This is an interesting one. I'm actually going to take a drink of water now, but if anyone is sapiosexual, please tell me kind of like what it means, because I'd still love to hear kind of what you think it might mean. I'm going to just take a really quick sip. Yeah, hashtag RJOTG, guys, please use that when you're posting so I can find them. And like I said, I know a lot of you could be anywhere else, but I appreciate you being here so much because these are such fun to make and I enjoy doing them for y'all. Yeah, I'll follow back, guys. Do not worry. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone's sapiosexual. Whoa, thirsty? Very. I'm talking a lot, guys. Trust me. I'm very thirsty. Sexual attraction refers to experiencing sexual desire or arousal in relation to another person or group of people. You might hear me giggle a little bit when I have to talk about sexual terms because sometimes I just find them a little funny. Because when you're having a normal conversation with someone, you don't usually mention that type of stuff to them. It's just kind of funny to mention, but it's not funny, but it, like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of silly to talk about, you know what I mean? It's just a little silly. Yeah, thank you so much for coming, Bad Bee. I appreciate you being here so much. Wait, before you go, let me give you out a tip if I can find you. I want you to have something before you go. So, God, I think she left already. Darn it. Okay, you're still here. Okay. I see you now. Okay. Here, let me give you out something because you definitely deserve it. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a good night. I hope to see you this Saturday. Let's continue going forward. Sexiverse. What? What is that? Sexiverse describes those who are on the asexual spectrum and are averse to or extremely disinterested in sex or sexual behavior. Averse? Guys, do you know what averse means? I don't know what that means. No? Okay. I feel like it just means that you are very disinterested in sexual activity, or maybe that's what it means. It's hard to know because adverse is such a weird word, like versatile. I have no clue. But let's move on to the next one since we are kind of running out of time, and I want to end like kind of before 10, hopefully. Sex favorable. On the spectrum of asexuality, sex favorable is viewed as the opposite of sex repulsed and describes those who are asexual and in certain circumstances or situations can have favorable or positive feelings towards it. And sex indifferent describes those who are on the asexual spectrum and feel indifferent or neutral about it. Sexual orientation or sexuality is an aspect of self that involves how you identify, the way you experience sexual or romantic desire, the gender or sex of people you engage in sexual or romantic activity with, the gender or sex of the people you are attracted to. Sexuality can change over the course of someone's life and in different situations. It's understood to be a spectrum instead of a series of mutually exclusive categories. Very good way to put it. Sex repulsed. I'm sorry. I should. Sometimes these words kind of make me giggle a little bit because they're kind of funny words. But obviously the terms aren't funny. But you know what I mean. Like it's just kind of. Yeah, I'm probably just talking right now. Okay. Similar to sex averse, sex repulsed is on the spectrum of asexuality and describes those who are asexual and are repulsed by or extremely disinterested. Okay, so this is more intense than the last one. This is completely more disinterested and completely more passionately disinterested is what I just got from that. So, scoliosexual. That's a word that I've never heard before. A sexual orientation that describes people who are sexually attracted to those with non-cisgender gender identities, such as people who are non-binary, genderqueer, or trans. This is an interesting term, and it's got a good definition. Does anyone think they might be scoliosexual? Like I said before, sometimes these words might be a little bit silly to read out, but that doesn't mean that they're silly in general. So, okay, let's move on to the next one since no one commented. Spectrosexual. A term that describes people who are sexually or romantically attracted to multiple or varied sexes, genders, gender identities, but not necessarily all or any. Straight, also known as heterosexual, straight describes people who experience sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction to people of the opposite gender. And that's basically heterosexual. It says the bottom line is okay to feel unsure or overwhelmed by all the terms we now have to describe sexual and romantic orientation, attraction, and behavior. Expanding the language you use to describe your sexuality can provide important guidance, validation, and access to the community while on your journey of sexual self-discovery and satisfaction. If you want to support the author, their name is Mayor Abrams, I believe. I'm not sure if they go by they, he, or she, so that's why I'm just saying they, so I can, be careful, or just, be safe. But yeah, if you want to support Mayor Abrams, their website is healthline.com, and I could always give out the link, but this is just all the terms that we read out, and it's 47 that we just read out, so it's a lot of terms, guys. Did we mention trans yet? Or because I feel like we didn't. Give out the link, please. Of course. I don't know why, but I don't think it's on here. I'm looking. Yeah, that's really weird, guys. I don't know why it's not on here. I thought it might be. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's on here. Darn. That sucks. I'm so sorry, guys. Grandpa P says, I'd love to continue, but I have to go. All right, before you go, I would love to give out a tip. Thank you so much for coming and staying. I hope to see you at the one this Saturday. And once again, I really appreciate your guys' support and time and effort and love and, just utmost, attention being brought to this topic, because this is really a good thing to mention and discuss. And because I feel so bad right now that they didn't even mention trans. So let me just look it up on Google, since I don't want you guys to be left out empty-handed. So once again, guys, I am so sorry it wasn't on the website. I'm going to mention it right now. I want to just look on a website just for you guys. Do the trans umbrella. Okay, trans umbrella definition. Okay. Stonewall website is where I found that. It is an umbrella term to describe people whose gender is not the same as or does not sit comfortably with the sex they were assigned at birth. It is important to remember trans identities are diverse. Trans people may identify in lots of different ways. Not everyone identifies as male or female. Sometimes people assume that being trans is about feeling you are the opposite gender. This is true for some trans people, but not for others. The assumption makes things difficult for those who identify outside of male or female. For example, non-binary people, they may need some different things to feel comfortable. Or, for example, a trans person who identifies as male. Not every trans person will want to transition, but may still like or benefit from ongoing support. Language is important. People sometimes worry about using the correct language when talking about gender identity. They're often concerned about getting it wrong. Our glossary includes a list of common terms that can be used to build confidence around trans terminology. A person may change the term they use to describe their identity or use a new term which is unfamiliar. It's important to make sure that the words a person uses to describe their identity are respected by others. That is very true. Is very, very beautiful read. I found this on a website called stonewall.org.uk. Razaza, I am 100% worried all the time to misgender someone. Me too. Honestly, I know how you feel. Sometimes I get really worried about misgendering someone because I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. I want them to feel comfortable around me. It's very hard to kind of remind yourself. Good night, love, work in the morning. Thank you so much for coming, Tums. I really appreciate it. And to those of you who just came, welcome. We're about to end very soon because I just finished the terms. And I also would like to read out something. I think I had something else that I wanted to mention. We're almost at the 1 hour and 30 minute mark. Yeah. So I guess really all that I wrote afterwards is thank you so much for coming. And yeah, I guess I really just wanted to mention that I really appreciate you coming here, listening to what I have to say, the history behind LGBTQIA, the terms and the labels. We don't want to always label everyone, but it's fun to kind of talk about them. Shark says the trans umbrella is big and labels are really just about your own journey. That's very true. Alice says, thank you for this amazing podcast. Of course, guys, of course, anytime. These are so fun to make. And trust me, I got so much planned. This is just the beginning, okay? Shark, I'm gonna need a rundown. I was so late. You'll be able to explain it to them. But yeah, guys, we're about to end really soon. Thank you so much to everyone who came to the podcast, who took photos, used hashtag RJOTG, tagged me. I would love to see your posts afterwards, and I'll be making like a collage afterwards. I'm also going to be posting Discord, and I'm also going to be messaging all of you, like putting you on the invite list. I'm actually going to write that down now so I don't forget. I do tend to forget these a lot, so I'm just going to write down, add more people to the invite list, and I also was going to post about the Discord server. We have about 100-ish members in the Discord community, and we're trying to grow and expand. So if you're interested, if you're interested, please join the Discord community. I'll be posting about it very soon. We might do some giveaways on there too, especially if you're a part of the God, what is it? The early birds. Yeah, the early birds are just people who were here in the Discord before it went public. So there were a few people who came to the Discord server before I ever made it public and posted about it. I did like little, I did little like, not giveaways, little contests where I would say the first 3 people to comment on this post will get an invite before the Discord releases. So yeah, there's about 107 people in the server. So if you're interested, I can't wait to see you come and join. It's such a fun community. I'll try to make sure it's more active. It had to be inactive just for about a month because I was busy and I wanted to just, take a break so I could definitely bring some more amazing content for you guys. So like I said, it is past that 1 hour and 30-minute mark, almost. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Like I always say in every single one of these, your opinions, I value them so much. They matter, and your emotions are important to me too. I love to hear what you have to say. And yeah, I love this community. Oh, I love you so much, Rambu. Thank you. You guys are just the best, I can't wait to see you all Saturday. This is going to be such a fun time. Thank you guys so much again. I have to end this now before I get too comfortable. Thank you so much, Alice. I know explaining all of this was very tough, but I got through it with you all, and I'm so happy that I did. And yeah, the next event, guys, I have to look really quick before I end. The next event is a sleepover. We're going to be finding a special guest this Saturday. We will be heading over to the sleepover room, the one that we've only used once. We'll use it again. And we will be reading a bedtime story around the end. It's going to be really fun, and I hope to see more of you there. Please invite your friends when it happens. Oh, I can't make it to that one. It's okay. Thank you so much for coming to this one. It will be at 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. So I can't wait to see you guys there. I love you so much. Thank you so much for coming once again. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.